What's up? What's up? What's up? My name is Nakia and welcome to this YouTube channel. And basically I started a store, lost my job, started a store, and ended up doing $1.4 million basically online in the e-commerce world. And now I'm dedicated to teaching other people how to grow and start their own stores through mindset and strategy and basically being raw, being real. Like, this is not one of those channels where I'm just gonna be always just sharing numbers, but I also want to see people get success. That's my goal over here. Today's common question is how did I do it? How did I do 270K my first year with no experience, basically dropshipping on Amazon? How did I do it? And I'm gonna be real, I'm sure there's people that are skeptic and they're like, okay, how the heck did she do that? And you start working out in your mind because, let's face it, especially if you have never done it, and most people struggle when they have the store, I'm about to share 5 things that helped me get there, helped me get to 275K my first year. And if you haven't already, feel free to head to the description down below and sign up for the Hunt for the Gold webinar, where I basically break down everything from scratch, everything from your target market audience to the product you should choose and to your content planning. And this is like a full-on training, so definitely head down to the description and click on the link so you can get going. So you probably have been thinking about starting a new store, or you currently have a store and you're not getting the results yet, but you're open to learning and you're wanting to grow your store. Here's how I did it. Here's what I noticed about a lot of people, especially like working with clients or just talking to other product business owners. What I noticed they do is that, so they start their business, they get excited, but then it gets to a point where you need to do tasks to get you from A to B. So whether you want to make $5,000 a month in your store or whatever that may be. But the thing about it is that there's so many people doing e-commerce stores that people tend to get caught up at looking at Sally or Jerry. So then they look at Sally or Jerry and they're like, but wait, what task are they doing there? And then you start staring and you're like, okay, but how can I get there? So you then think, because they are getting the results, that you should all of a sudden change your task and start doing the same task they're doing and scrap your task that you're originally doing. And here's a quick tip. Stick to the task that you're doing right now. Keep on doing it every day, because every time you get shiny syndrome and you start looking at someone else and you start doing their task and scrap your task, guess what happens? Every time you have to start all over again. And people don't realize this, and that's what keeps them back. That's what makes the process slower. So when I started, what I did differently was I stuck to like 3 tasks. So I was posting on social media for visibility, and the 2 things I did was I looked for products, research products, and list the products in my store. That's what I did. That was in like looking for suppliers, there was other things, but those were the 3 main goals. So you want to focus on like 3 to 5 money making tasks, whatever that means for you. But don't change it up. The average time people usually change up their tasks, like a true company, is about 6 months. And to be honest, as I saw results, I never deviated from the main things, right? I maybe will try little things, but I would never like completely stop doing my task. So my tip for you is that find the things that you can do every single day and keep the task the same. Consistency always wins. You're like basically like 100% ahead of someone who is constantly changing their task, don't have like a clear system routine that they're doing every day. You are a step ahead of someone that doesn't do it. So my biggest tip is stick with the task, same task. Choose a task, don't worry about what other people are doing, because here's the reality, is that when someone could be doing one task, right? And it works for them, but you may try and it may not work for you. Just like you could be doing your own task, they do your task, it doesn't work. So you just have to find what you love doing and choose those tasks and be consistent with it. The best way I found for you to stay on track is build an activity sheet. So what I mean by this is that you would have, for example, like one column having the date, and then the next column would then have basically the task that you want to do, and the next column would be saying complete. And the first thing that you need to do, and this is what I do with my clients, is you need to determine how much time you're going to put towards that. How much time can you realistically do? This is not about how much time I can put into my business. How much time can you put in your business realistically, and you're gonna stick with it? That's the ultimate goal here. If we're gonna be real, like, people will usually say, oh, business is so easy, and they think they're gonna love every task they do. I'm here to break it to you. There's gonna be some, I call this non-sexy tasks. So these non-sexy tasks are usually things that you're trying to avoid, you keep on putting off, but usually the non-sexy tasks are the things that you absolutely need to do. So there's gonna be non-sexy tasks that you need to do, and you should do them, right? It's okay. I'm here to tell you that non-sexy tasks that you don't feel like doing is completely normal. We all have this in our business. The thing is, what people don't realize, and what set me apart from others, is that I determined in my mind that I was gonna make it. I made that decision. When you don't make the decision that you are here to make it and get to that point, there's room to quit. So the difference between me failing the previous businesses before I officially started my store was, before that, I never thought of making a decision that I was just gonna continue. There was no room to quit. So every time when stuff got hard, guess what? Nakia quitted, right? But then what I did was, once I made that decision, this time I was tired of routines, and I was like, dude, there has to be a different way. Like, I have to do something different, because what I'm doing right now is getting me stuck in the same type of jobs, and for me crying to work. I was tired of crying. And so I got to a point where I made that determination, and I was like, I am not going back to a job I hate. I'm not doing it anymore, right? Like, that was my mindset, and that has to be your mindset. When you start your store and, you know, it gets hard, right? Determine that you are gonna win before it even gets to that point where you having your mindset to quit, because you know what's gonna happen? That same thought's gonna pop back up, and you're gonna be like, remember you told yourself, like, you ain't going back. You remember you told yourself that you are gonna stick through this until you see it happen. And that should be your main goal. Another thing too that I found really helped me skyrocket: have spreadsheets. I know they're not sexy. This is one of the non-sexy tasks I was telling you about. Have a spreadsheet. So why I say this is because you're able to document your progress. So when I say document your progress, this could be any way. It could be like your analytics on your Instagram or your Facebook page or profile. However you define that for yourself, especially if you're not getting sales yet, start looking at it, because what happens is you can see progress. Because the problem I found that I didn't do in the beginning, especially when I was failing the businesses before I got to this point, is that I didn't manage my progress, right? So guess what? If you don't set yourself up for success, what happens is then you start focusing on the things that are not working, and that's how you get discouraged, and then you quit. So what I used to do is I would start tracking my progress. In my case, I got my first sale the first month, right? So I started tracking that, and that gave me the push to keep on going. But if you want another perspective, I started a case study with another store that I'm definitely gonna be going more in detail about. And what I did with that is I started progressing my Instagram analytics, and I didn't think you would have that feeling like, oh, like by the end of the month you'd be like, yes, like it made a difference. But what was very surprising is that it was so interesting to see, though I'm not getting the results yet that I want, because every journey is different. I'm gonna tell you that. Doesn't matter how much experience you have. Every journey is different, the way the store is gonna go. And so what I noticed with that store is I was seeing progress. Like, I'm actually seeing growth with terms of impression and reach and engagement, right? In my analytics. So that was that confirmation where I was like, it's so important to start tracking your, like, have an Excel sheet. I don't care how simple it is or how complex it is. Start doing an Excel sheet. So that way you can start documenting your process. You can start like keeping, so if you know like, okay, you got 5 likes today, and then you know, you record that, for example, and then the next month you get like 15 likes, that's progress. So about tracking small wins. Choose a platform. Stop overthinking it. Because the next time I see someone overthinking the platform, what platform to choose, what a product, nah, I'm kidding. So when it comes to, especially if you're starting out and you want to get going, you're ready to get going, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to get started so I can start seeing results. My biggest recommendation is choose a platform and start posting some products, start researching products, and start testing. That's what it's about. Everyone always asks, oh, what's the best product to sell? The truth is, any product you could sell. It just depends on the type, like obviously the type of product and what's appealing to your target audience. To be honest, this is how it usually works. The product that you think is gonna sell is not the one that sells, and the product that you don't think is really gonna sell is the one that picks up. That's just usually how it is. I can't explain it. People like what they like, and basically you're gonna get, the idea is that you'll get 80% of your sales is gonna come from 20% of whatever is in your store. You choose a product, and obviously you do your research, market research, we'll talk about that in another video, but you want to start testing. Like, you only know what's gonna work once you start taking action and you start implementing and you get going. That's the only way you're gonna do this. So you have to start testing, you have to get going. And one of the things I did, and I know this is a little woo-woo, that really skyrocketed my business, was affirmations. So why I say this is because I'm a person, I'm not really a mindset person. Like, I'm a strictly strategy person. I'm not one of those people that are all mindset and woo, 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 woo. You know what I'm talking about? That's not me, that's not Nakia. I didn't even know what mindset was when I started. I didn't even know I was doing mindset. That's how in tune in mindset I was. But at the time, someone suggested I do affirmation. And I have to tell you, affirmations changed my life. And so what affirmation is that usually you will take your goals and then you'll turn it into a statement that's in the present tense. Like, you already have those goals. And then you start saying it every day. So you know how people usually write down their goals. People tell you to write down your goals. But here's what happens. People usually write down the goals and they close the book, right? And then you forget about the goals and you don't even know what goals you had in the beginning. This can't be only me to have done that. Please, like, definitely shoot it down in the comments and tell me if this has been you and you haven't looked at your goals for like over a year, right? So the beauty of affirmations is that you say it every day. So every time it's going in your subconscious mind, especially if you have doubts. Like, this is good for you. Like, if you have any doubts or you want to stay firm and you want to remind yourself, these are the things you need to do, right? Is have affirmations for you to say in a present term. So it could be anything like, I am making $10,000 a month yearly, or 10,000, it's not yearly, what am I saying? 10,000 a month on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. I have launched my store because some people, here's a tip, some people don't even take action on that. So I have launched my store. So every day you would say that and it'll remind you to do it. I have made my first sale in my store. You'll say that every single day. And then if you want to take it to the next level, this is a bonus tip. You put some feeling in it. I am celebrating making my first sale. I am enjoying making $10,000 a month in my store, right? And this could be for personal, it could be for career-wise, especially if you're in a job. And especially like, you know, you're trying to like transition. Trust me when I tell you, having like affirmations, especially when there's days where you're like, dang, I wish I was in this, I wish I wasn't in this job. Like, I wish I could just like skip over and do some other things, right? I wish I could just be working full-time in my business, right? Those will help you. And so I just want to make a side note, like, I want you to say to me, because I'm going to be making these cards for you, so you have it based on where you're at, so you can remind yourself and encourage yourself. The repercussion of doing these affirmations is usually within a few months you'll start seeing it come to pass, right? Especially if you believe it though, but the key is you have to believe it. You can't be just saying, oh, I want to make $1 million, and every time your mind's like, but we're not making that, right? Do it where you're at. So if you've never made money on a line, start with $1,000 or $5,000, and as you see it come true, then you get bigger and bigger goals. But yeah, that changed the game for me. Like before I knew it, like I was hitting like some 5-figure numbers and I was like, wait, didn't I put on my affirmation cards? It's usually that's how it happens. So it's not something where you'll be like, oh, like check, we made it. Like we did that goal. It's usually as you start reflecting and you're like, wait, I've been saying that affirmation for a while. So there you have it. Those are the top things I did to get to 275K. And I'm here to remind you, like, because you know people show these numbers and then they don't tell you about the other parts. Like as you could tell, there was a lot of non-sexy tasks that you need to do in order to get there. Like you're not gonna like every single task that you do. You're not gonna like everything that you have to do to get in order to get there. But you have to decide, how badly do you want it? Right? I want it badly, but do you want it badly? Right? How far are you willing to go to get to where you want to be? Definitely don't forget to subscribe so I can see you next week. Right? Remember, refuse to quit.